You're watching WMBD This Morning.
The hit Broadway show, The Book of Mormon, is saying hello to Peoria next week at the Peoria Civic Center.
That's right. So joining us now via Zoom is Jarius Quiet, who plays Mafala Hatimbi in the touring cast. Thank you so much for calling in today.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, y'all.
Absolutely. Now, this is a one-of-a-kind show. It's famous, and we're very excited to have it at the Peoria Civic Center. So for those who don't know about it, tell us a little bit about what people can expect.
I would say you can expect a lot of laughs, a lot of great music, a lot of good singing. My cast is just A1. And a really good story. It follows two missionaries who go on their first mission, and things take quite an adventurous turn. Like I said, it's full of tons of laughs. I mean, this musical has been around now for, I want to say 14 years, if I'm doing math right, maybe 15. I mean, won Best Musical, 9 Tony win, excuse me, and a Grammy. Like
Wow.
that says a lot about what people are in for. So really, really excited to be bringing it to you all on December 2nd and the 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want you to tell us about your character and where you drew your inspiration from, and how did you prepare for a role like this?
Well, I would say I've talked about this a lot. I've started drawing my character from my own experiences. So the character I play is Mafala Hatimbi. He's the village leader and the father of Nabalungi. And I have to give a full disclaimer, even though I am graying, I am not a father in my own right. So I've had to kind of pull on things from like my dad and watching my uncles and my other father figures and godfathers and those kind of stuff, but definitely me and my dad, as I've gotten older, I've kind of noticed different things about him, and I'm like, hold on, you're funny. And so that's been a really nice treat to kind of pull that in. And it's funny, we actually, when we did the show in Atlanta, where I'm from, he came to the show, and I told him, I was hugging on him, and I said, look, there's two JMCs, because we share the same initials. I said, there's two JMCs on the stage. And he just kind of chuckled and laughed. So it's nice to be able to kind of carry, parts of me and parts of my life onto the stage and take it across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. That's heartwarming for you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that is definitely going to show on stage as well. So what do you hope the audience takes away from both your performance as well as the show as a whole?
I think I would love the audience to just have a break from what's on the outside of the theater and what's going on in their lives. Like, I think the theater is a wonderful space of escapism, as well as like a collective experience that's also individualized. And what I mean by that is you're all experiencing this show in the same space at the same time, but you're going to have different reactions. And I think that's the really cool thing about the arts. But also with the story that we're telling, that they leave with a sense of lightness and community and all that kind of stuff. I think at the heart of this story, with all the laughs, it is about community, and that's a lot of hard and a lot of warm moments and a lot of so I'm hoping they find those moments, and as they're leaving, they really dive into that and have a good time. And I love kind of like, I'll be kind of cutting through after the show in disguises for wherever they're even people like, you were on stage, but that's not you. I don't know. So I get to kind of like worm my way through the audience and hear little whispers about what they liked and stuff. So it's always kind of a really, really cool time after the show.
Most definitely.
Well, speaking of reaction, do you have any advice for any young performers who are going to be coming to your show? And like you said, they're going to have different reactions to different parts, but what advice do you have for them?
I would say, especially if they're interested in the arts, I would say take it all in, really be, open to, experiencing it in real. That's the one thing about theater, especially live theater. It's happening in real time. There's no redos. There's no starting over. We can't, call cut and go back and redo it. Like it really is in real time. So just experiencing it for what's happening right in front of you. But like I said, if they're interested in the arts, my biggest thing that I talk about when it comes to young performers and wanting to get is to discover who you are first and foremost before getting to the industry. That way you can advocate for yourself. You can show up as yourself. That was one thing I learned a little bit later in my career is that I'm I'm good just being Jarius on my own. And that has kind of changed how I show up in audition rooms and how I show up on stage, or even just how I show up in my day-to-day life. It really does have an impact, and it translates on stage because then I'm a little bit more freer to try something or explore something a little bit more. And it really is like a top to bottom thing. Like once you innately know who you are, you can show up in such a different way. So that's always my biggest advice when I'm talking to young performers or just young people in general, because I
Yeah.
was once 16, 17. It's been a while, but I was once there, so I understand what it's like. So
Yeah, well, those are words to live by. Fantastic advice. And Jarius, we're so excited you're going to be here soon for people to come out and watch you in the Book of Mormon, December 2nd and 3rd. Do not miss out, 7:30 p.m. And we, of course, have that information to purchase tickets on ciproud.com.
And we're going to share all these details, including this interview, on our website, ciproud.com. Click on the WMBD This Morning tab under News.